We're going to start with the topic modals. Modals, when used with main verb, expresses the mood and attitude of the speaker. Different modals perform different function in a sentence. They are used to indicate promise, permission, necessity, compulsion, condition, obligation, and function. These are most commonly used modal such as can, could, may, might, need, dare, will, and so on. Modals are never used alone, they are always followed by the main verb. It is never used alone, it is always followed by the main verb. We'll discuss about some few modals. First, if I take can, it is used as an auxiliary and it indicates about ability. For example, I can play tennis with any player of world ranking. Second, it indicates about verbs of sense perception. It indicates about the verbs of sense perception. For example, I can see the waves dashing against the shore. Next, it indicates about the right or sanction. For example, you can not cast vote unless you are 18. It also talks about a requesting or a granting of permission. For example, can I use your telephone please? And it also tells about the permission granted according to one's conscience of feeling used in the negative. For example, again, we cannot let them touch electric poles without gloves. If I take the other model, that is could. Could is the past tense of can, and could is used for possibility. For example, they could be the coldest night of the season. It talks about advice as well. For example, they could plant trees near their house to get ample oxygen. It talks about a polite appeal or request. Could you lend me money? It talks about conditions as well. For example, if they could be more laborious, they would reach the top. The negative form of could is could not. Or you can say couldn't. Can is informal whereas could is polite. The choice of any two of the above model depends upon the situation and the speaker's relation to the listener. Next, one more thing is there that could is a polite request. It expresses a weak possibility in the present, in the past, as well as in the future. Third, may. May is used as an auxiliary again, followed by an infinitive without to or with an infinitive understood. To indicate, it indicates a request or granting a permission. Granting a permission. For example, may I use your calculator? Granting the permission. Yes, you may. It talks about possibility. It may snow in the evening. For possibility, it may snow in the evening. Next, it tells about the desire or fervent wish used chiefly in exclamatory sentence like may God bless you with a worthy son. Purpose or result in clause introduced by that or so that. The teacher dictated slowly so that the weak student may follow easily. Introduced by that or so that. I repeat the example. The teacher dictated slowly so that the weak students may follow easily. It talks about conditions as well, like if he may be suitable for any post, I shall appoint him in the office. It also talks about the pointed questioning, how old may this painting be? How many old may this painting be? So here it talks about the pointed questioning. Next model, might. Might functions as a past form of may. It tends to emphasize on hypothesis more strongly. For example, he might fail in this examination. It might be hot tomorrow. The negative form of might is might not. Maybe and might be. Maybe, or if you use the model might be, it indicates about the possibility. It indicates about the possibility. For example, where is my new dress? It may be or might be in the cupboard, right? Because there is a possibility. If I talk about may have or might have, might have indicates some moment in the past. It indicates about some moment in the past. For example, I don't find my pencil box here. You might have left it in the school. The moment in the past here we are talking about. Next model, must. Must is used as an auxiliary followed by an infinitive without to or in reply to a question or suggestion with the infinitive understood. So must, it indicates about compulsion. It indicates about compulsion or obligation, you can say. We must respect our we must respect our motherland. It talks about requirement. You must obtain a driving license before you purchase a car. It talks about probability. It must be 9:30 when we met. It talks about in the first person insistence or fixed resolve. In the second and third person, insistence attributed by the speaker to other. Must also talks about prohibition, certainty, determination, a requirement or necessity. Giving example for all, if I take prohibition, children must not be imposed extra burden or study. Certainty, they must have encashed the check by now. Determination, we must reach the top of the hill before it gets dark. Necessity, in teaching, patience is a must. Next model, ought, ought to. Ought to is an auxiliary followed by an infinitive with to. It indicates obligation. It indicates obligation or duty. It indicates desirability. It indicates about the likelihood. Giving example of all, obligation ought to, like they ought to sacrifice their lives for the motherland. Desirability, you ought to have attended the interview for the job. Likelihood, they ought to have painted the fence by tomorrow. It does not itself take an auxiliary form that it does not itself take an auxiliary form, though in casual uses such constructions as you did not ought to go will often be heard. Shall and will. If I talk about shall, should, will, and would. Shall and will. It expresses future tense, but there is systematic distinction between the use of shall and will. The use of shall is recommended. The use of shall is recommended form with first person I and we. For example, we shall increase the bonus next month. Will. Will is the recommended form with second person you and third person he, she, it, they, and all singular and plural subject. For example, he will define the shape of a cuboid. They will use vacuum cleaner to clean the sofa set. Shall and should and would are the past form of verb of shall and will. Should and would is the past form of shall and will. Shall can express in the first person singular or plural simply futurity. I shall be 28 tomorrow. In the second and third person determination or promise, they shall lead the procession, your honesty shall be praised and honored. It also talks about inevitability. It also talks about command and compulsion. Compulsion with the force of must in status deed and other legal document. The penalty of fine shall not exceed rupees 500. If I talk about inevitability, the day of judgment shall come. Command, you shall not steal. Next, if I coming on to should. Should is the past tense of shall, but more often it is used as an auxiliary indication. It indicates about duty, expectation, advice, disapproval, and to express a negative purpose. Coming on to duty, for example, they should reach border at the call. Expectation, we should get a good news. Advice, you should apologize if you are in wrong, or you should go for a morning walk. Disapproval, you should have left your evil ways. Talking about will and would. Will and would. Will indicates about simple futurity, likelihood or certainty, willingness, probability, a promise, intention, or a threat. For example, futurity, they will appear later. Certainty, you will regret this. Expectation, that will be the postman ringing. A promise, I will fetch you a gift. Intention, we will pass sultry days. A threat, we will rob you of your valuables. Would is the past tense of will and is often used as an auxiliary to indicate about a custom or habitual action. Custom or habitual action, about a polite request, about estimate, doubt and refusal. Should have and would have. When should is used with have and past participle, it means it was the right thing to do but was not done. For example, it was a hectic schedule. You should have decided the work covering 6 days of the week. And would have is used in conditional clauses introduced by if, but had is the preferred word in speech and writing. For example, if not had gone, he would have seen her, or I wish that she had gone. Modal name need or need not. Need is used in two different constructions. First, it can be a full verb taking an es, taking an s, can be a full verb taking an s, ending in the third person, being followed by an infinitive with infinitive to, and having past tense. He needs to work hard. He needed to work hard. Second, it can be an auxiliary, in which case it has no ending or past tense and takes an infinitive without to. She need wear it only once. Its use and its use as auxiliary is restricted to negative and interrogative sentence. The sentence she need wear it only once means she need not wear it more than once. Other example, need she wear it only once? Question mark, because it is only restricted to negative and interrogative sentence. Next is dare and dare not. Dare and dare not. Dare and dare not are often used with an infinitive with or without to. With or without a word to. Dare is used to express first to have the courage or boldness. To have the courage or boldness required for example, we dare to oppose the unanimous decision of the board. Second is to challenge or to do something requiring boldness. I dare you to cross the river. As a verb, the word dare from its question with do and did. For example, do you dare to challenge me to fight? Second, did they dare damage the parked car? It is also used in the negative, they dare not close the secret, and the negative is dare not.